Alright. Good morning. Well, yep, it's afternoon. I've been running a little bit late today because I've spent the entire morning planning another trip. And this one is going to be even further than going up to Orkney. Because, you know, I just can't get enough of driving my car. Actually, in all honesty, I really can't. It's a massive issue. First, I've got some errands to run. That is my old camera. As I was getting a new lens, it seemed like the right opportunity to get a camera that didn't have those limitations. Specifically, the ability to take time lapses, you know, proper time lapses, without needing additional software and phone control and things like that. And also the ability to shoot in 60 frames per second. I am now the proud owner of an 80D. Okay. Let's get this posted. All done. Now I just need to get a lens bag for my other lens. For a lens cover, lens bag. Job done. Right, we need to get haircuts, but I don't have time to do that. Both me and Jasper need a haircut. What I do have to do is get some milk and sugar, otherwise my latteing is over. Fantastic. And now I just need to grab some lunch. Well, I'm running seriously short of time. Got to go pick Jasper up in a minute and other things. Don't know what else I've got to do, but this is a... oh yeah, that's right, I haven't edited today's video yet. Oh, and I need to have a run because I'm having one of those every day from now on. So yeah, all quite a rush, but it's okay, it's doable. Yes, I know. It's quick and easy and it tastes good, and I'm gonna get 2 cheeseburgers, so it's gonna be dirt cheap. Time to get Jasper. Fingers, Jasper. There we go. House is open. Door test. Okay, good. Maybe it was just some kind of weird heat thing. Seems to be working properly now. In you go, come on. So today, if I get my editing done at a reasonable time, the plan is I'm going to talk about governments and what they should or shouldn't be doing to promote the switch to EVs. Okay, so I have finished the editing. Wow, it's just getting later and later. And I need to catch right up because it is going to be another one of those busy times where it's difficult to fit in the editing with everything else. It's coming, it's around the corner. Very exciting. Let's get back to the subject of governments and, you know, whether ultimately they should be thinking about banning petrol and diesel or not. So one of my friends came across an article in the Times about the banning of petrol and diesel. It sort of mentioned briefly that, for example, France is planning on phasing out petrol and diesel cars by 2040. The slant of the article was basically that governments shouldn't get involved in picking a technology, because if they do, what tends to happen is they potentially prevent the rise of a competing technology which actually might be the better solution to the problem. Hilariously enough, it gave the example of when the UK decided to ban the sale of incandescent light bulbs in favour of the compact fluorescent lights. What's ironic about that, of course, is that now everyone just buys LEDs. And although you could say on the one hand, well, you know, the government thought it was going to be these compact fluorescent lights that were going to drive everything forwards, but ultimately consumers didn't like the downsides. Well, sure, consumers didn't like the downsides, and the manufacturers of light bulbs used to go, well, if you don't like the downsides of CFL lights, then what you want to do is buy an incandescent bulb. But once they were banned, the manufacturers went, well, we've got to fix this problem, because whoever fixes it is going to sell loads of light bulbs, and so they went to work on making LEDs cheap and functional, and guess what? Now LED lights are brilliant because they turn on virtually instantly, they use virtually no power, they're very reliable. It's actually a really, really rubbish example, because the example it's given has actually proven the opposite of what the article was trying to say, which is namely that if the government, say France, or the UK for this matter, decided to ban petrol and diesel cars they would somehow prevent the rise of an alternative zero emission drive technology because they're promoting batteries. Well, they're not actually. They're pretty technology agnostic. They're not saying what you have to drive. What they're saying is what you're not allowed to drive in the future, or at least not allowed to buy new. Petrol and diesel, fine, and that makes perfect sense. If you say that, if you make it really clear to auto manufacturers that there is no way that they can continue to sell petrol and diesel vehicles, then they are going to find the solution. They really are, because their livelihoods and the livelihoods of the tens of thousands of people that they employ will depend on finding that solution. So I personally would be over the moon if the UK government decided to ban internal combustion engine vehicles from, let's be realistic with it, 2030, give the manufacturers time to actually come up with a solution, or perhaps even go to 2040. But the point is, by putting a line in the sand and saying, right, at this point, you have got to have sorted out an alternative, it gives these manufacturers a really clear incentive to invest in the research and development necessary to bring new vehicles, new energy vehicles to market, whether they're hydrogen or battery. I think battery is going to be the clear winner. I personally think that is totally obvious. Speaking as somebody who's driven almost 2,000 miles in the last 10 days in my battery electric vehicle, well, there's no way I could do that in hydrogen. Not for 5 years, probably not even then. So there you go. That's what I think. I think in this particular case, in this sort of way, it's okay for governments to get involved. It would be different if they said all auto manufacturers have to make battery vehicles. I see no sign that they're going to do that. One more thing I've just got to quickly add in. I read on the BBC, and actually one of my subscribers left a comment saying as much as well earlier today. Do people who drink lots of coffee live longer? I think it's just fantastic. I have always known that coffee is good for you. Well, it's good for how much I get done in my life anyway, that's for sure. Right, video has gone up. I've finished my coffee, so it must be time for my run. That's 2 days, 2 runs. Wow. Oh, okay. Better make some supper for Jasper now. I feel way better already after 2 runs, and it was definitely much easier today, which is a big relief because yesterday was so painful. Anyway, that noise you can hear in the background is the oven. I think got a bit of a loose bearing there, and it's cooking the pizza for dinner tonight. Now, I'm gonna just have to have my shower, I've decided, after we've eaten, which is way manky, but that's just what happens. I'm trying to squeeze too much into the day because I've had a lot of organising to do earlier, and it's just like totally wrecked everything, but in a good way. Soph's home now. She's upstairs reading Jasper a story. Boom, that's kind of their little time together each day, usually. And I have got to go do a bunch of editing, so I'm going to say goodnight. I hope you've enjoyed today's vlog post. If you have, remember to like it, share it and subscribe if you haven't already, and follow me on Instagram if you don't already, and I will see you tomorrow for the next instalment of my daily vlog. Bye. The French government has announced that from 2030, and this is prompted by the French government that's announced that from 2025, this is prompted by the French government